Okay, so it's not very difficult problems, but who remembers what the Pythagorean theorem is and can explain it? Robin?
A squared plus B squared plus C squared.
Okay, so we got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, when you have a right triangle, you have three sides in a triangle. One side will be represented by A, one B, and one C. Is it your choice, or is there a specific one that has to be a certain letter? C has to be the hypotenuse. So C is always going to be the side that's across from your right angle. So in this problem, the C is that diagonal line. So it's the one that's across from your right angle is C. Do we know anything specific about the hypotenuse? That's all right. Anybody know anything special about the hypotenuse? It's going to be the longest side of your right triangle. Okay? So when I solve this, if I'm thinking, it's got to be larger than 20 inches. Okay? It's going to be the longest side. It could be 21. Okay.
25.
It could be 20.1. That's still larger. Okay? So it just has to be larger. Now, when we have both sides as 20, does it matter which one I put as A and which one I put as B? No. They just have to be the sides that make up your right triangle.
Does it matter if they're different?
It doesn't. This triangle just has to be an isosceles. Two sides are the same. Okay, so what we're going to have is 20 squared plus 20 squared equals c squared. It's a quadratic. If you have a variable that is squared, it will always be a quadratic equation. Okay? Now, you probably didn't think of it that way when you studied Pythagorean theorem, whenever it was, but that's what it is. So, if I'm going to do this problem, I'm going to have 20 squared plus 20 squared, which is 800. So I'm going to get 800 equals c squared, and then what do I have to do? Not divide. Square root. So I need to take the square root of both sides. So when you get down to just a c squared or whatever your variable is squared, the next step is to take the square root of that. When I take the square root of 800, we're going to go out to the 10th spot. So that's the first digit after the decimal point, and you're rounding. Solomon? 28.3 inches. Now, how many answers do you get when you have something quadratic? 2 answers. So normally we would put plus or minus. Monday and Tuesday on both of your problems you were just asked to solve and you had to put plus or minus. Why did I not put plus and minus for this problem?
It's not negative.
What, Casey?
It's not negative.
Why can it not be negative? Why can I not have this side be negative 28.3?
It wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't exist. Why wouldn't it exist?
It wouldn't be larger.
It wouldn't be larger,
Be there.
and it wouldn't be there because you don't measure in negative amounts, right? So no matter what career you're in here, at some point you're going to measure something, okay? Or not measure it, you're going to set the size of something. You're never going to have that size be a negative amount because you can't. So that's the reason why these typically application problems will only involve the positive answer. Okay? Yes?
Oh no, I was just.
Oh, you're just thinking. Okay, scratching your head. Okay, we're going to go out of order here. We're going to do 3 next. 1, 3, and 4 are Pythagorean theorem problems. So we're going to do all of those first. Okay, 3 is the typical problem that you see when you first study Pythagorean theorem. It's a ladder leaning up against a building. Okay? So, in this problem, Marcus is attempting to rescue a fluffy poodle that is trapped on the 2nd floor of a burning home. So we're going to have our home, and we're going to have our window. I'll put my window right here, kind of make it bigger. Okay? And I'm going to have the window is 16 feet above the ground. And I'm going to put the bottom of the ladder is 6 feet from the base of the house. And then I'm going to lean my ladder up against my house. So my ladder is going to be, I'm going to put it in pink, since we're talking about a fluffy poodle here. Okay. So I need to be able to label which side is 16, which side is 6, and which side is going to be my unknown that I'm trying to find. Where's 16 go?
On the right side.
The right side. That's the height from the ground to the window. So this is 16. Where's the 6 go?
Bottom.
The bottom, because that's the ground. And you are trying to find the length of your ladder. Now we know the length of that ladder is going to have to be longer than what? 16 feet. Okay? So we are going to do 6 squared plus 16 squared equals c squared. 6 squared is 36 plus 16 squared.
292.
Go. So if I add them together, it is 292. So I'm going to get 292 equals c squared. And
Do we
what
have to write it like that? Or can we put c squared equals 292?
you can put c squared equals 292. I don't care which side you write it on.
Okay, the square root.
Take the square root of it.
Oh, Mike.
No, it doesn't.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
What is the answer?
17.2.
17.2? I think it's 17.1.
It rounds up.
Oh, you gotta round down.
No, isn't it 17.08, and so that tells you to round that up to 1?
17.1, yes.
Okay, feet.
Plus or minus?
Not plus or minus, because can you have a negative length of a ladder?
No.
Can you go to Lowe's and say, I want a ladder that is going to go out negative 12 feet?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, you could,
Go ahead.
but they'd probably look at that as crazy.
Well, I hope they would since they're working at a hardware store, but that's not a given.
Yeah, here.
Okay?
I hand him a shovel.
That's a good one.
One say, get digging, that's how you can make it.
Okay, 4. So a ship leaves a port. A port is where the ship is stationed.
Yeah,
And it sails 12 kilometers west and 19 kilometers north. So you're going to start somewhere. That's your port. And I'm going to put my ship here. And I'm sailing west. Which direction's west?
This way.
This way.
That way.
Okay, I'm going west right now. Is that left?
You gotta
Okay.
look at the sky.
So I'm going to go left. And then I'm going to go north. Which way's north? Up. Okay. So this is 12 kilometers. And this was 19 kilometers. And I want to know how far I am from where I started, which would be C.
Well, I drew my triangle backwards, but
That-
it's fine. I don't care.
It's okay.
Don't really give a crap.
That means you didn't know your directions. Okay, so
I
set
don't
it
know.
up.
I don't know. I'm inside of a room with no windows, without a compass. Of course, I don't know which way is north and west.
I know, but if this is my port,
If
I'm
you're
not
facing
saying-
that way, you're facing north, that's west.
correct.
If you don't know the actual directions that
Ask Bear Grylls.
Right.
Bear
But if you really
Bear
want to
Grylls is in
think,
this room
that's
right now
south
without
and
a
that's
compass.
north
He
from
will
where
not
you're
be
sitting
able
right
to
now.
tell you what
But that's
direction
okay.
he's facing.
Okay, Alan, let's go. Focus. Okay, so this is going to be 12 squared plus 19 squared equals c squared. So what's 12 squared plus 19 squared? 505. 505 equals, okay, Alex, so what's the square root? 22.5? We all agree?
Yep. Kilometers.
Kilometers, thank you. Put units.
Yep. Kilometers.
I had students tell me that their geometry teacher marked them wrong if they didn't have units on it, 22.5. Okay? Okay, so number 2, we're going to go back to number 2. Number 2 is not a Pythagorean theorem problem. Okay? It's strictly related to your geometry. So we have a right triangle. Both of our sides are the same length. They're represented by h. If you want to change that to an x because you don't like to use h as your variable, change it to an x. It doesn't really matter what letters you put for variables. Okay? And then I have this statement. A equals 25 square feet. What does A mean? Nope, A is not one of the sides. Area. Okay? You also might know that because it says square feet, so that means you have area also. So my question is, what's the formula for area of a triangle?
Don't remember?
No, it's like
Ooh, close. It's 1/2, not times 2 times 1/2. So it's 1/2 base times height. Yes, you could. Did you say divide by 2?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. You could write it like that too.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, so my A is going to be 25. The 1/2 is there. What's my base represented by here? H. What's my height represented by here? H also. So I'm going to have H times H. Now, when I multiply two variables together, H times H, what do you end up with?
H squared.
H squared. So we are going to have 25 equals 1/2 H squared. Now listen to carefully. How do I get rid of the 1/2? You can multiply by what?
Subtract.
A half.
No, that's not right. What? Divide by 1/2. This is multiplication, guys. 1/2 times x or h squared. So how do you get rid of that? You divide by it.
Yep.
Okay? So you are going to divide by 1/2. Do not tell me 25 divided by 1/2 is 12.5 just because you want to be a smart, you know what.
I didn't say anything.
So I'm just looking this direction. I'm
Straight in my
not
soul.
following
Like,
you. Okay?
she was staring
You know?
dead at me.
I think you're reading into things I didn't say. Okay, so what's 25 divided by 1/2?
50.
There we go. And now I get 50 equals h squared. So what do? Square root. What is the square root of 50? Put it in your calculator. I know you're not doing these square roots in your head, so if you're not touching your calculator, okay. It's 7.08,
Oh, wait.
but we are doing 7.1. We are rounding to the nearest tenths. 7.07 is it?
7.0.
Good job.
Okay, round up, it's still 7.1.
Proud of you. Hundreds.
Did they do hundreds?
They tell us all the time. They get 10,000.
Thousands, 10,000s, all that. You get mad.
Well, where you used to teach at Ross, we rounded to the
Used to teach it
next
wrong.
one after that, so what would that be? Thousands.
Yeah.
And we didn't round either, we just truncated, so.
Okay.
Truncated means cut off.
Oh, okay.
I used to have to round up.
So we're doing tenths because Math Excel does that. Okay, so number 5. Draw yourself a square. Can you draw a square?
Yeah.
What do I know about a square?
4 sides.
4 sides. It has
4 90-degree angles.
4 90-degree angles. Austin, what else is that?
Oh,
One more
no.
thing.
All the sides are equal. Come on.
Okay, all sides are equal. So you're
But
going
that
to,
explains what I just said.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if all sides are the same length, okay, it is not. If I told you the perimeter was 24, the perimeter is the distance around, yes, the side length would be 6.
Yep.
I did not say that. I said the area. How do you find area of a or in the square? Yes. So we have area equals base times height. So we know both of our sides are the same, and I'm going to use a variable x, okay, to represent my side length. So I know my area is 24, and I know my base is x and my height is x. On your own, on your paper, solve that problem. Okay, I was just making sure. I probably shouldn't have done that, but just was hoping that we were good. We just all blame you, Bronson.
It's only because it's Bronson.
What are we going to do next year when you're not here, Bronson?
Get blamed for everything at
We're
work.
going to blame him when he's in the military somewhere, right?
5, right?
Okay, so if we're looking at this, guys, if you're not using your calculator, or if you don't even have a calculator, that might be a bigger issue, I should say. Okay, so what are we going
Too busy
to
catch it up already.
have? What's x times x? good, and then how would we get rid of that?
4.9.
No, that's here, you need to show that step. You missed that.
They had like 7 million.
What is that?
Five lost payments on it.
Okay, so you guys square root. I like that. Okay, so what's x times x?
X squared.
X squared, so we're gonna have 24 equals x squared, and we're gonna take the square root of that, and we're gonna get x equals 4.9, I will take. It's 4.89, I think, so the 9 tells you to round up to 4.8 feet. Okay, how do you feel about that type of Pythagorean theorem or more geometry area?
That one wasn't too
Okay,
hard.
that's good.
hard.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I think that
Okay,
the
so-
algebra teacher taught geometry better than the geometry teacher.
Yeah, for
sure.
Thank you.
For sure.
Actually, geometry is one of my favorite subjects to teach, but
No,
I haven't.
Mine is so bad.
Casey, are you dishing me again?
No,
I didn't hear what you said.
I bet.
I just heard Mrs.
We
Harrison.
actually just teach.
Oh, okay. Well, that's my job, but right?
We don't need people to stand up there and just talk.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not. And remember, I've had lots of caffeine today. So, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so what we have on 6, 7, 8, and 9 are problems like what Math Excel is going to give you also. So this is the same type of application of quadratic, but it's going to be a little bit different, so you don't have to know the Pythagorean theorem to do that. Okay, so last week you did Desmos activities, and some of you guys picked different things, but some of you picked bridges to use as your picture, okay? So this is just a picture. When I cut it out of Math Excel, I mean, this would look like a bridge, and this would be water down here, but obviously we don't have a color copier to use that, so we got black and white. Okay, so this is telling you that this parabola, this quadratic, is modeled by this formula, and this is a plus sign, not a division sign. So h equals negative 0.05 x squared plus 27. Okay? And the question that it's asking is, okay, if you're here in the dead middle or center under your bridge, okay, and I want the height to be 22 feet, okay? So if I look here, this would be 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet. So 22 feet, if I come across, would be maybe somewhere in here. I'll put a point there. You know. So I'll put that point there, okay? So what I'm asking you, if this is 22 feet, right here, representing my pencil, okay, how far from the middle under the bridge would I have to swim to get to a height of 22 feet? Is what it's asking you. Okay? So if this is 22 feet right here, if I come down, how far do I need to swim this way to get to a height that would be 22 feet? Okay? So if I'm going to do that, what do you think H stands for here? It tells you it stands for height. What is your height that you want the bridge to be?
22.
22. So I'm going to put 22 in for your H. Okay, this would be like what you've solved the last 2 days. How do you solve that problem? It's very similar to how you solved the opener problem. How are you going to move this?
You have to get rid of the point, or the positive 27 first.
Yep, so I'm going to subtract 27.
Negative 5.
Very good. So negative 5 equals negative 0.05 x squared.
And the square root of
No.
No.
That's what some of you guys did yesterday and you messed up on your
We have to get
maze.
rid of that.
I have to divide.
Negative 0.05.
Right, you have to divide by what's in front of your x squared. Make sure that you take the negative with you. So what is negative 5 divided by negative 0.05?
100.
Yes, thank you. And now that I've isolated that x squared, now what do I do?
Now,
Now you take the square root. So the square root is the last step that you're going to do. always. Okay? So if I take the square root, what is the square root of 100? No, it is 10, and it would be 10 feet.
My dude. What is 25 times 25?
My dude.
I don't know. Leave me alone.
Okay. So does that make sense once you set it up? You're going to substitute in?
Way off.
Okay, when we go to the next model, who in here's in physics? Anybody?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, so some of, before break, back in December, people were dropping things off the second floor balcony. I don't know if you were in that
Yeah,
class that
I
was
know.
doing that.
Hey,
Okay,
What
but
class?
basically, in one of the physics class, they were doing it. Okay?
Oh yeah, that was us.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we had a paper airplane.
when you were doing that, it was kind of like looking at what we're going to do next. Now, in physics, you take the weight of the object into consideration. You take the air resistance, that type of thing.
Right.
We're doing a generic, very simplified, that there's no air and all objects weigh the same, okay? Which we know is not the case, but we're simplifying it down for our problems here. So, when you drop an object, what happens to its speed?
It increases.
It increases. Okay? The height of an object can be approximated using the same function, the same equation. And that equation is h equals negative 16t squared plus s. And some of you make your 5s like that, so be careful, that's an s, not a 5. Okay, if you were working in physics doing this, they had negative 4.9 here.
Yeah.
Okay, the difference is you did everything in metric, Math Excel does everything in feet. So that's why it's negative 16. So Math Excel will always use negative 16 from what I've seen. If somebody sees that it's different, please let me know. But this would always be negative 16 t squared plus s. Okay? Now, what does the h represent here? The height when the object comes to a stop. So this is the height when the object is resting or done after it drops. The t represents time. And the s is going to represent, nope, it's not speed, that's what you would think. It's going to be where your starting point is. So where you start to drop the object from. Okay, because all of these objects are being dropped. They're not being thrown. They're just being dropped from a certain height. Okay, so that's why it's S, starting point. Okay, so if we look at number 7, some of you maybe have been to Kings Island and been to Drop Zone. Okay, so Drop Zone actually takes you up 121 feet in the air, and it drops you. Now, obviously, when you get closer to the ground, it slows down till you become at a rest. Okay. Okay, so what if the brakes didn't work? Okay, and you were up 121 feet in the air, and you
Plenty of bird food.
fell. Okay, the buzzards would come eat you. You think? Okay. How long would it take you to drop that? Okay?
2 seconds.
So that's what we are going to figure out. So we're going to have h equals negative 16t squared plus that initial height, which is 121.
You'd have quite the hog
Okay.
and hog decoration.
Now, when
Seriously, we would.
we're trying to find the time, okay? So time is t. Time is t. And I want to know how long it takes me to hit the ground. So when I hit the ground, what's my height going to be? 0. So I put 0 in for my h. Okay, because it's when my object is finished and it's hit the ground, it will always be at 0. Okay? It always stops at a 0 height. How do I solve this problem? Nope, you're not going to divide first. Subtract 121. So I'm going to get negative 121 equals negative 16t squared. What is the next step supposed to do here?
Divide.
Divide by?
Negative 16.
Yes. Make sure that you take the negative with you. So you need to divide by negative 16.
7.57.
7.57
Round it up, yeah.
equals t squared. And so what do I have to do, Andrew? What do I have to do with the 7.57?
Square root.
Okay. And you get, do you have that yet?
No.
2.76.
So that would be 2.76 would be 2.8 seconds. So it's going to take you 2.8 seconds to fall.
And it's about 3.
You got what? You didn't take the square root of it yet.
You have to round it up to the
Yeah,
next
round.
tenth. Or wait, no, to hell.
Okay. Look at the next question. Read the next question.
Oh snap, we wouldn't have rounded that up to 57.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been. It's all right.
It's
2.7.
Miss Harrison, can I use the restroom real quick?
Yeah.
This problem.
That's fine. Okay, so this problem is nice that it gives you the function. So it tells you that the helicopter pilot drops his sunglasses from 144 feet. So the function's given to you. When the sunglasses hit the water below, where are they?
0.
0. So the 0 is always going to go in for h. So we're going to have 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 144. To solve that, you are going to subtract 144. So I'm going to get negative 144 equals negative 16t squared. And I'm going to divide by negative 16. I believe you get 9.
Yes.
9 equals t squared. That's when I take the square root, so it's going to take 3 seconds. Oops, can't see it. Okay, I know I went quickly because number 9 is your exit slip. Okay, so you're not turning them in, you're going to turn them in your notebook, and I will go back and look at your notebook. So, I will help you set it up, and then you will need to get it checked off before you clean up or before you leave class. So, we're going to have an egg dropping contest. Your goal is to design a container that I can drop an egg from the height of 32 feet without it breaking.
Well,
Okay.
I did that in 7th grade, but I broke.
Yours broke.
It didn't work.
Okay, so I have h equals negative 16t squared. What's my initial height that I'm dropping from?
32.
So plus 32. Okay, when I drop my container with my egg in it, it's going to hit the ground. How high is it off the ground now?
0.
Where do I put the 0?
H.
H. You have the rest of it to do. We will come around and sign off on your paper as you get it accomplished. This goes here. This is a height of 32. Kind of catching on. Okay, so the only new problem that we just solve this like we would have just a T here, okay? And then the very last step we're going to get square root. Okay? Yes.
Done.
Once you have it, please ask. You can clean up. Hang on.
Doing work after school.
Not gonna divide first, Logan. What are you gonna
What'd you
have to
get?
do?
7.4? 1.41. Thank you. You don't have that. You
Nice,
don't have
thank
that. Thank you. What video is it? What? It's not Sony.
Sunday. Yeah.
That's some dude that had a crime. Yeah, and that one girl walked in there. It's like, I need somewhere one day. It's like, well, you can't. So, they were in there for like 10 minutes. The jury said guilty.
You can bring it back to me if you need
Wait,
me to
what?
check it. If you need help.
Maybe about something like
probably cut there.
Positive.
Because that's one of the only charges that a jury's gonna hear.
You guys got checked?
Wait,
You got checked? Did you get checked? Did you get your work from yesterday?
No.
You get in the back.
I mean,
I'll give it to you.
even mass homicide wouldn't be that quick, you know?
You got yours? No. Solomon?
Bronson? Same
So it's a name. Color into there. That property, get that answer. And it will tell you how it is.
Yeah, I'll look down.
If you can squeeze your work in there, that's fine, and then have your work on the back. Did you get that out one? What did you get? Oh, what's the square root of 2? Square root of 2 is not 1.
Yeah, you got excited. No, I didn't. I was like dying.
T squared, now what
Yeah,
the last line.
that sounds like a Scotty.
Did you get your side note one?
About the
Okay, get it.
You can do better.
I know.
You can do better. That's pretty simple.
I didn't mean to say that. I was trying to sit with Sam. It was like,
32. Yeah.
it was my father and my sister, like, so. I'll take that.
This would be 32 each time, or not 32.
That's going to change every time. There's a part that's going to change on that chart.
Alright, thank you.
Perfect.
Taylor, is she at Taylor?
Please clean up. Put glue sticks on the front, but I shouldn't see calculators left on desk. So get them cleaned up, guys.
My lab had a competition on it. How long is that jacket?
How still
Has the board been jacket?
I don't know.
Nobody ever knows about.
The B would say turbo lag. There's your start.
I saw these socks on when I did, like, on right foot said gas, and on the left foot it said clutch.
There is no braking here. There is no braking here.
Stop.
There you go, man. Calculator. Oh,
You have to brake your trip and make a turn. You just let off your throttle and just drift into it without even needing to.
Nah, you just got straight e-brake that.
Yeah, if you know how to, if you're good enough, you can, without even needing to use your brake, your clutch, anything, you can just get your car to just
You know, I play Need for Speed.
slide
I
it.
don't even slow down. I straight run into this wall.
Yeah, you gotta go your throttle for a bit and let it slow down enough to make the turn on its own and speed back up.
You're hitting 200
You're
still. You just turn,
retaining-
smack into that wall, and you
more
just
speed.
turn on, and just keep
Yeah,
going.
slam
Oh,
on
you're
it.
already ahead. We
With drift by e-brake.
Right, just slam on this.
Well, that's
Get
how I-
close.
That's literally how I
Of
use
course,
it.
can't you guys do that?
I still play it like that.
I don't know it.
You just retain more speed, than people that use their e-brake.
Like, not even using your e-brake drift.
You can't play Forza like that, but you play every time.
No,
I play
you-
Forza. You also like that every day.
No, I'm
drop
talking
it,
about
drop
like
a clutch
straight
real
smacking
quick.
in the wall.
No, I just-
You have to try.
Yeah,
I never once have to hit my brakes in Forza to make a turn or drift. I just let off my throttle enough, slow down, and make the turn.
Yeah, I'm talking about trying to go like as fast as you can, smack into a wall, and keep going
Yeah,
like any
yeah,
other racing
yeah.
game.
Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about a game now.
No, I know. I'm more
we
real.
just take our
Realize you're
cars,
gonna
smack
stress
into the
that
building.
here,
I've
you're
done
gonna
it that way in
smack
real
into a
life.
wall and then you're gonna think you're gonna keep going?
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
That's what all the cool
Yeah,
kids
going
do.
up to the white light. Body shop.
Smacking into walls is my
I mean, that's
favorite.
I like this really long running tab with my auto body.
Actually, no, there is a really sad story behind what I just said there.
Oh,
I don't wanna hear a sad story, cause I'm not in a sad spot today. I'm
Well,
happy.
Nissan. It's an old piece of that's basically good for nothing else.
Yep.
Plenty of snacks.
Feel you there.
I have a Pontiac Sunfire.
It's been a stressful week, but it's good.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
Now, if I could get my holiday trip,
That'd be awesome.
Sad day.
But I destroyed it, so thank you.
I think Monday, maybe yesterday.
Because drifting that way is incredibly
And
risky.
then by the end of the day yesterday, it was like,
You have basically have no control over where that car is going when you don't
this cost all
use your e-brake to drift.
This car just goes so fast.
this cost, it
It's
does.
like a boat.
But the thing is that since I don't use an e-brake to drift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it halfway done.
You got it halfway done already?
Yeah.
That's great. Didn't expect you to say that.
You did not just that.
Right.
You did not just that.
Tomorrow, we get an email saying that you're gonna yeah, okay. I'm just supposed to remind my 8th bus students that you're, you and Eddie.
What about this, Cyber?
Yeah. Mrs. Howe will have it for you. Which although Eddie looks like he's dressed down already, unless he changed his shirt. On board. On board. On board.
I know. No. Where's the cold at, man? I don't like this boat. Oh, I like this shit. We're doing super hot. I thought it was super hot.
Your number one student is here.
Where's cold at?
Kind of scares me.
56, 57.
What the fuck? Well, you do that thing.
You can't use what you say.
Is that or cold? Yeah.
Is that a question you should ask? I mean,
Hey, while you're up, where is he?
Yeah, like, he's like gone. He misses a day every week.
Come on,
Every
just
day.
tell me what it is.
I don't know why. It's every day.
No, I ain't going to. No, dude, don't charge right.
Yes, it does.
last year.
Well, give me the fucking wall plug. Plug it back in.
Plug it in.
My nigga,
Try it.
back.
No, you get that school really, really
Hey, you smell like sickness.
school really,
It's good, my nigga Jake. He gets to school like
I like to watch it, you know, it's fake. So there was no in between. For her out.
He's like,
Stays there. You know, he stays there for like 4 3.
He's at $400. More like 46, 400.
For her, but his parents would drive here to pick him up after.
Oh,
Drive that here to wherever he was.
don't tell me I left it. That's
You our teacher today, Mr. Morton?
You know what?
You gonna teach us?
Oh, getting back in the saddle again. What are we doing? Standing for 4 minutes, 7-4?
Yo.
Rattle us?
some bull. That's a
Slow.
Been knowing that.
He said,
Delta Y over Delta X.
what?
I mean, that's my theory. We can get back to the other one.
Mr.
Mr. Morgan, you gonna teach today?
Eyes over
just
front,
Right here.
number
Can I
up,
go ask
number
Miss
over.
Terry to unlock the test just so I can do it in here?
That's fine.
Eyes over front.
Here. Well, actually, but you
Not
can do
at
this
all,
one.
I'm
I
not good at
guarantee
that at
that you
all.
can do this one.
I'm not
Okay?
good at that at all.
Good. That's all right.
What we got? What we got?
Susan comes up. ACT questions. So get your bell workout for today. There's like 7 people absent in this class today. So you will need a calculator. So if you don't have one, you need to locate one.